Hello everybody, it's me, the Nappy Professor, and it's about 46 degrees and very bright. So I've actually come for a walk. First walk in a very long time, except in parking lots. And that's the building, there's a kind of fence around it with, private property under video surveillance signs. And they mean it. There's a person there with like 20 screens behind the concierge watching every inch of the property. So as I said, the security is one of the things I like about the building. And I guess the location right here, there's a footbridge there over the Humber River. And right behind those trees, kind of hidden, is the skyline of Toronto and sort of see the CN Tower. But those people there, those humans, they're sitting on my usual spot. I usually sit there when I go for a walk, or before I head out on the walk. I like to sit for a few minutes and then kind of acclimatize to the outdoors and then go for the walk. And they're sitting in my spot, but I can't ask them to move because it's up in the park. So anyway, if they move, they look very comfortable to me, so they may not move. But if they move, I will move there, and but I'll show you the skyline from that bridge anyway. Anyway, bye for now. That HOOMAN couple obviously had no intention of getting up for quite some time. So I had my little pre-walk break, rest, and I've now started off on the walk. There's the building. This is the expensive side. We're on the other side. This side is the expensive side because you get the full lake view and the skyline of Toronto. We get the skyline of the other condos over there. So, and a bit of the lake. That's the kind of Humber Bay side. So, and this is the bridge. People not familiar with Toronto, this is the footbridge over Humber River, and that's the Humber River. And this bridge leads to the boardwalk, and the boardwalk goes all the way to the city, about 4 or 5 kilometers, I think. Anyway, and I have actually in the past I used to sometimes bike along that route, and I have actually walked to town a couple of times. And I think I took the streetcar back. Anyway, got a very nice, little coolish. I mean, by the water you get a bit of a cool breeze, but I'm wearing my oversized coat with the hood and everything, and I get the hat and gloves. So I'm going to enjoy this walk. Anyway, bye for now. This is the first stop. Well, second actually, if you count the stop right after coming off the driveway. So this is the second stop in my walk, and there are the buildings. There's the city skyline and people walking their human kids. Again, very big advantage of cats is that you don't have to walk them. And I'm going to walk along the boardwalk a little bit. I was considering maybe walking to Bloor West Village and eating out, but I had a late lunch and I don't see a lot of point in, I'll see, and I've got frozen food and stuff at home. Anyway, bye for now. More swans. I wonder what a group of swans is called. I'll have to look it up. I know that a group of cats is called a clowder. And a group of kittens is called a kindle. Dogs, I think, are a pack. Crows are a murder of crows. I'm going to look up this one right now. This is a good thing with being online. I could check right away. Just looked it up. It's a little complicated. Actually, a group of swans in flight is called a wedge or a bevy or a flight, but only when they're on the ground they can be called a bank of swans. But then they're not a bank of swans when they're in flight. So this is, I guess, a bank of swans, It's kind of a bit fucked up, I think. But anyway, see the shit you learn watching Nappy Professor videos, okay? Most useless shit imaginable. Anyway, bye for now. This is Sunnyside Pavilion. The path is closed for maintenance up ahead, and there's a Sunnyside pool just up there in the summer. And in the summer, there's a restaurant and patio here on Sunnyside. I think I read recently that there used to be. I mean, I'm talking about 100 years ago. I think there used to be an actual amusement park or something around here, and was kind of out of town, and people would come out here so for the day. And at this angle, you can't see the skyline of Toronto. It's kind of hidden. You can just see the top of the CN Tower there, you know. And you can see our buildings, though, those two twin towers. Kids and I are in the one on the left, and then the other condos there. And that's all High Park on the other side of the highway. Anyway, I guess this was a sign that, my walk has been long enough. It's time to take another rest and then head back to the kids. Bye for now. I don't know if it'll show in this, but you can just about see the moon starting to rise, even though it's only about 3:30 in the afternoon. And there's something else sort of interesting here. I was walking along, and I saw this, somebody has tied a bunch of keys to this, bench. And obviously it looks like somebody dropped their keys here, or left the keys in some good Samaritan, as I'm assuming, but that's what it looks like, has tied them to the bench. And they say people aren't altruistic in the city. Anyway, bye for now. Even though in my social psychology class as lecturers we used to talk about how actual altruism, helping somebody else with no benefit to oneself, doesn't really exist, because even the person who found those keys and said, "Oh, I'm going to help someone by tying them to there, and not throwing them in the water or whatever, I'm being such a great person," there was a self-reinforcement there. Anyway, bye for now. There is a single swan. Not a bank, I guess it's an ATM. Sorry, I couldn't resist that. No wonder I have so few viewers. Bye for now. Walking along and past another bench, and there's another one of these keys attached to the bench, and someone's tied a yellow ribbon. That was an old song, but that's not an oak tree. But anyway, someone's tied a yellow ribbon to draw attention to the fact that they found a key and they attached it to the... This is a trend? The fuck is going on? Anyway, bye for now. The city is getting just a little too helpful. This is not Nappy Professor City. Bye for now. It's a whole bunch of human kids being pushed in devices, and one of the pushers, kid pusher. One of the pushers waved to me, and then there's a whole bunch there. It's like multiple kid carriers, So anyway, bye for now. Human kids out here, It's like bye. I did something a little kind of, daring today, rather than opt for one of the specials. They have daily lunch specials, and I think Tuesday is in vegetarian. It's vegetarian curry, and then there's chicken with vegetables, which I had last time because I ate chicken. But this one I selected from Friday, and it's fish cakes. Now you're allowed to, but it costs you an extra $2. But it's only $13.50 to begin with, so I can spend the extra $2 and still be under my $20, limit for the series. So I'm like going, let's live on the edge. Let's do fish cakes on a Tuesday. So, and they're very, very good. And what I've done is I've taken some of the tofu, and I was pretty sure this was vegetarian because I saw the tofu and stuff, and I asked, and she said there's some egg, and I said that's fine. I said I eat egg, I eat fish. So I'm taking some of the tofu, and I'm putting it on, and some of the bamboo, and I'm putting it onto the rice to give it a little bit of, because it's a little dry with the fish cakes. So far so good. The place is definitely, it's not too buzz up. It's very high on my list, It's not the top, of the 5. It's high on the list. It loses a little bit of marks just because they don't have super hot food in itself. They have the sambal sauce, which is not super hot to begin with. It's like 3 chili or 2 chili on 1 chili on Salad King scale. So, but they bring plenty of it. They see me, they bring it, and the food itself is good. So, in spite of that, it still gets a 2 puzzle. So anyway, I'm going to finish and see if I can make that movie. Okay, bye for now. It's now 1:25. and I'm almost finished. There's one last fish cake. So I'm going to rush and pay, and it's, like I said, it's only 5 minutes away. So I should be able to make the one, and the films don't start right at the time anyway. So I should be able to make the 1:35 showing. It's got a human kid in it, but it doesn't matter. There's really nothing else I would see. So, and while I've been eating, there's two kind of prosperous-looking business executive types at the table to the right, talking very loudly. I'm not eavesdropping, but they're just talking very loudly, and I can't close my ears, you know. And they're discussing all the business model and the issues and the problems and the this and the that and the contracts and the design of plants and stuff like that, and you know, the architects and this issues, and I'm just sitting here going, I'm so glad I don't have to do any of that shit. But you know, that the whole kind of business thing was never my thing anyway, except for the properties that I bought in Niagara. All my employees were junkies, and it was kind of a little bit different. But you know, the kind of businesses people talk about, that was never my thing anyway. But I'm also, listening to this, I'm also really grateful I don't have to teach anymore, because this would have been the really busy time of semester. It's like, you know, at this point, essays would be due, and, you know, I'd be making up tests, and there'd be like people asking for extensions, and all of that stuff, and, you know, and the marking, and it would be driving me nuts. How I managed to do that for almost 20 years with the binging. I binged for the first couple of years, yeah. Then I went clean for many years. But how I managed to do that without, you know, binging at the end of a semester, I don't know. I really don't know. But anyway, I just think back to that, and it makes me anxious. I'm like, how did I do that? 240 essays and students and complaining and marks, and well, they didn't complain. They really liked me, but the whole thing was, I was a very generous marker. But in spite of that, they still wanted more marks, and they'd come and fight over like half a mark. And even with essays, I had the system where, and I think out of my 5 viewers, 3 of them are former students anyway, so you guys will remember this. But the Nutty Prof system for deadlines was, there'd be a deadline in November 5th or 10th or whatever for essays, and I would say, I'm not going to do this, you know, taking off marks for late papers or anything like that. If you hand it in on the due date, November the 5th, I guarantee you that you will get it back by the last day of classes. December 10th or whenever it is, December 5th. You know, you'll get it back by the last day of classes. And, you know, sometimes I would get like out of 240 students in the different sections, different courses, I'd get like 20 on the actual due date, you know. And then the other ones, I said, you can hand it in up to, you know, the last day of classes, which is, as I said, 5th or 10th of December or whatever. So you have until the last day of classes. But if you hand it in after the due date, then you can't ask me, is it marked yet, you know? And if you hand it in on the last day of classes, then I have until the final exam. So I have, you know, so that gives me another week, 2 weeks, depending on when the exam was scheduled. But then I wouldn't be lecturing, you know, so I would have more time. And it kind of worked out for me. But people would still hand them in late. And they'd be like handing them in at the final exam. And my policy was I don't, you know, take off marks. So I was just like, if you're handing it in the final exam, I will mark it in the next 2 days because my marks will be due very soon. I will mark it, but I'm not going to make as many comments on it. I mean, the regular papers, I make a lot of comments, Nappy Professor style comments with the underlines and suggestions and anecdotes and whatever. I used to do a lot of, you know, and quotation marks, and it was Nappy Professor style of marking. But maybe I should have patented it. Well, no, nobody else would want to ever use that. That was particularly my style of marking. Again, my former students will remember this. So, but I said, if you hand it in the last minute, I'll read it, I'll look at it, I'll you know, I'll put a few check marks, and I will make suggestions if you ask. If you come and talk to me, I will go over why you got the mark and how to improve it and whatever. But I'm not going to write all of that into the paper. So, and because I've got like 2 days to mark the ones that come in at the final exam, it worked. I mean, the system kind of worked, you know, and some people did take advantage. Just came out of the cinema, and I guess it was a good film. There was a focused on one very high maintenance human kid, And then there were other human kids because the uncle character, Joachim Phoenix, that was his job, interviewing kids for his radio show. So you get a lot of interviewing of kids. And a lot of the dynamics between him and his nephew and his sister. And, it was actually a pretty good film. It makes me appreciate my own non-human kids more. But it was not a bad film, actually. And there was only one other person in the entire cinema. And I don't think it's going to be playing much longer. It was sort of artsy. It was in black and white. But it was actually not a bad film. Anyway, bye for now. Hello, everybody. It's me, the Nappy Professor. I'm on my ego chair today. The twins are running around here in the living room. I'll show them to you in a minute. And Agita's in her room with the door closed. She kind of regressed a little bit today. She was having treats with her brothers in the kitchen earlier in the day. And then for no reason, she started hissing and hitting at them and then snarling at me. And then, went to her room. No more treats for her. And then I went out, which I'm going to talk about shortly, and then I came back, and Agita is still in a bit of a hissy mood, which maybe, you'll see that maybe her food mood affected her dad. We'll talk about that in a second. But anyway, she's back in her room. So I will show you the three kids in a second. But first, I just want to talk a little bit about today's events. A bit of a stressful day for the Nutty Professor today. And maybe that's why I'm sitting here on the ego chair to just kind of decompress, come down a bit and share this with my 5 viewers. But I ended up going to, and today in the morning, okay, start at the beginning. In the morning, Agita gets hissy with her brothers and goes to her room, all that stuff. And then the water's turned off here in the condo building, and it happens occasionally. They try to do it at night when there's work, but sometimes there's an emergency and they have to turn off the water. So the water was turned off and there was no notice about it, so I hadn't really prepared. But I do have, empty Coke bottles that I keep full of water, 3 or 4 of them, for, situations like this, and there was some water in the kettle. So I was able to brush my teeth and, all that stuff. But then I kind of pulled the flush without realizing that. And then, if you use the toilet again, it doesn't flush because the tank is empty. So I'm like, what do I do? And, and I had to go out to the bank, which I'll talk about in a second. So I had some stale Coca-Cola. And that's the thing with being a pack rat, a hoarder, is that I don't throw things out. But, sometimes shit comes in useful, because I had a couple of bottles of stale Coke sitting in the kitchen, and a couple of big bottles, I don't know, from like 3-4 months ago, and I'm pretty sure that they were stale. It was not in the fridge, it was on the floor in the kitchen, and I poured that into the tank, and then I flushed it, and it semi-flushed. I was actually going to show the Coke in the toilet tank, but then I didn't really want, again, I got so few viewers that I don't want to gross out the 4 or 5 people that regularly watch this, and they go, oh, you want to see toilet tanks? Even though the Coca-Cola in the toilet tank was kind of symbolic funny. But, but anyway, so that was my morning, and then I didn't have a chance to have a shower or anything before I left. I took a sponge bath, not with Coke, but with cola, but with the water from the bottles. And then I had to go, and I'm not going to go into details about this, but my banking was partly split, and some of the banking was out of town, a little way out of town, and there were reasons, and I haven't switched. And we had a manager, an advisor who'd been there many years, but she retired, and was introduced to someone else, and then that person left. I met her a couple of times, and it was my financial advisor at this bank. I won't name the bank, I won't name the city, but and then she left without telling me. And I phoned the other day to move some funds and to check on something, and she's gone, and there's another guy. And So I made an appointment for today, and I drive out there, and I get bad traffic, and the only reason that it was going out there was because some of the financial stuff was being handled by that other manager who was very, very good, so I get there, and I talk to the guy, and I tell him, I said, I'm not really very happy about the way this person left without telling me. And he goes, oh, we have so many clients. And he goes, that's just life. People leave. And I'm like, that kind of triggered my inner Agitha. And I started, I didn't actually hiss or snarl, but I turned into the angry Nappy Professor. And he was like going, oh, keep your voice down, please. And I'm like going, I'm the angry Nappy Professor. And I'm like, I didn't say that, but I'm just like going, look, that's it. I'm shifting my funds. And it's not very convenient at a time anyway. We were going mainly for that person. So as I said, I'm not going to name the bank I'm keeping it in another branch of that bank closer to home. So that was my day, and then I come and I have some Indian food in that town, and I didn't tape it, but I was just like, I kind of needed to eat some spicy food. It was actually quite good after all that stress, So and then I'm back home, and Agitha is like still being a bit hissy, so she's in her room. So anyway, I'm going to show you the kids, and I'll show you the empty Coke bottles. 1 second here. I just wanted to show that things are slightly better now. After supper, I think Agitha is in a slightly better mood, and she's up on the top, tier of the new cat condo, and the babies are playing in the hall, and we're all having family togetherness time again. So maybe my day is getting a bit better. Okay, bye for now. Hello everybody, it's me, the Nappy Professor. I'm at an Indian restaurant here in Toronto that I used to go to regularly at one time for lunch, and I haven't been back in a while. And I've ordered the chicken vindaloo extra spicy. And I've just been to my local bank here, the branch, and had to line up outside, allowed 3 people in, and there was a person in front of me in a big hurry because she was going to the States, and she was behind me actually, but she pushed away ahead. And I said, okay, fine, I'm not in a hurry. She had to go to the States and transfer money. So all of that. And then I get to the teller, and I explained the whole situation. I said, I have some accounts here, and I have some accounts at another place, but I want to switch those from there to here. And then, and if I get a financial advisor here, because, by RSPs and stuff. And she did it. The teller did it right then and there. She didn't even, she transferred all the, I guess the Nappy Professor is a bit of a Luddite, because, I thought you'd have to bring paperwork and do this and do that. Nothing. It's like the teller did it like, and she said, are these your accounts? And I go, yeah, those are my accounts. She did it right at the computer. It looked like 10 minutes. And then she made an appointment with a financial advisor for tomorrow. So I get a new financial advisor who I'll hardly see. And really, I don't know why I was, I think I was caught up in my parents' whole thing about, oh, we know the manager, and Andrew looks after us, and all of that stuff. And I was going all the way out there, because of that. And the manager was very, very good, with like a personal service. But, the Nappy Professor doesn't really like humans. So this whole impersonal thing, and the whole, that's life, that, people just move, and you don't actually deal with a certain person. You just do. I don't like online stuff. I'm not going to switch to online. That would be a bit dangerous for me anyway. So, but, I can do stuff at bank machines, and once a year, twice a year, I need to discuss, RSPs and, moving money, something like that kind of thing. And that's about it, So, the less human contact, the better. And this was so. I'll let you know how it goes tomorrow with the financial advisor. But and I'll just keep it very short, and I'll just go look. I've got some accounts here. I'm moving some other accounts here, and just 1 or 2 things with the RSPs that something has to be reinvested. And I'll see you next year. Bye. And I think that's much better. I like it better than the previous personal service, in spite of, our manager was very, very, very good. It was a whole other thing. She became more like a family friend. But this is like impersonal, and, that whole that's life thing. It reminded me of a song by somebody I don't really like, Frank Sinatra. And it's not my kind of music, but I only knew it because of the bar I used to hang out in back when I drank and when I was teaching, and they used to play that song all the time. And it was like, I'm a puppet pauper or a prince, a king, and I've been down. And I'm not going to sing. I mean, my friend was afraid that I was going to sing, Frosty the Snowman, and she wanted me to because it would be entertaining. But I said, if I sing, I will lose the very few viewers I have because I'm such a bad singer. So anyway, there's a song by That's Life. The guy was like quoting me. So I'm like going, well, I've taken my account from there to here, and so that's life too. It's like, I would never recommend that branch to anyone. I'm not going to say it online or anything. I'm not going to say it in public. But if anybody ever asked me about that particular branch personally, I said, don't go near it. So anyway, that's it for now. I'm going to enjoy my lunch, my Indian lunch, and let you know how it is. The food has arrived and it's very good. And I was about to ask for hot sauce, and he said, kind of taste it first because it's very, very spicy. And I tasted it, and it seemed actually spicy enough. And I said, this is very rare, but I don't think I'm going to need hot sauce. But now that I'm eating it with the rice and the bread. Oh, by the way, the naan is very good, very fluffy and nice naan, and all of this for $10. It's definitely on my top 6 now, and it's I kind of forgot about the place. So anyway, I'm going to ask him for some hot sauce now. Green chili. The green chilies have arrived. There were like 4 or 5 of them, and they mixed them in. It has made it really, really spicy, and it has now propelled this place to the Nappy Professor's highest rating of 2+. So we've got the extra paw going up, 2+ paws up. Excellent, excellent food. Now, while I'm eating, I was also thinking about the whole bank situation, and that the guy was at the other place was going, oh, that's life. People just go, and you don't get an actual financial advisor, and we're not going to tell you anything, and that's life, And here, everything is, I'm not going to be particularly attached to, once a year, twice a year, but it's nice to know that there is someone that I can talk to if there's some concerns, And when I talk to her tomorrow, I'll go, do you have the system here? Or if you're going to leave, would you inform me? I mean, if you're going to get dropped dead, you wouldn't know. But I'm hoping that somebody would tell me that my financial advisor died, But so anyway, but I was thinking about that whole That's Life and the Frank Sinatra song. And as I said, Frank Sinatra, not my kind of music. But there is a cover of Frank Sinatra by My Way by Sid Vicious that I really like. I really like it. And that was, before he said Nancy and then killed himself. And he's the only thing about that song is that he adds a line about doing harm to a cat, which I kind of it's Sid Vicious, and so I'm kind of discounting that. But I like Sid Vicious's version of My Way. Anyway, bye for now. I'm gonna get back to the food. It's very, very good. Bye for now.